harmonization, or the arrangement of aircraft guns and of the gun sights, so the guns will give the optimum bullet pattern at the correct range, and at the point of impact will be intersected by the line of sight at that range, is one of the armourer's most important duties, since no pilot has a reasonable chance of destroying an enemy unless his guns and sights are so adjusted. Harmonization must therefore always be done by a responsible NCO and the work checked by the pilot concerned. Many factors affect harmonization, such as the type of aircraft involved, its armament, the purpose for which it is to be used, the effect of gravity on the trajectories of the guns, and the distance between the guns and the gun sight. These problems, however, are not the armourer's problems, but will be calculated by the command armament officer, who will issue detailed instructions and an appropriate harmonization diagram for each type of aircraft in his command. For convenience, harmonization is usually done at the reduced distance of 50 yards instead of at the full range. The harmonization diagram may be painted on a convenient wall, or a portable harmonization stand, such as you see here, which can be taken to dispersal points, may be used. Each machine gun, cannon, the semi-camera gun, and the gun sight is aligned onto one of these discs. The discs are painted in different colors to make it easier for the NCO to identify them when he is looking through a gun barrel at 50 yards distance. The first thing in preparing for harmonization is to see that the ground is level. The sight having been carefully selected, the aeroplane is jacked up, clear of the ground, and leveled both laterally and fore and aft. To adjust the level laterally, the NCO places a spirit level or inclinometer in the cockpit on a straight edge. He then directs his assistant to adjust the attitude of the aircraft until lateral level is obtained. Fore and aft level is found in a similar manner, with the spirit level on the datum line of the aircraft. The tail is then raised or lowered until the aeroplane is level. The fore and aft axis of the aeroplane must be at right angles to the harmonization stand or wall. Otherwise, one wing would be nearer to the stand than the other. To attain this position, plumb bobs are hung from the nose and tail of the aeroplane. When these plumb bobs hang in line with the vertical sighting line on the harmonization stand, the fore and aft axis of the aeroplane is at right angles to the stand. The datum gun or guns must be at the correct angle as laid down to the type of aircraft and on the horizontal sighting line. The angle of the datum guns, in this case the cannons, is checked by means of the inclinometer. Any necessary vertical adjustment is made by the movement of the whole aircraft, which must be kept level. Beginning with the cannon, the guns are now aligned to their discs. When aligning a gun on an aiming disc, the appropriate disc must appear concentric in the bore. Adjustments to cannon are made by an assistant who moves the gun as directed by the NCO. In harmonizing cannon with this type of front mounting, care must be taken not to alter fore and aft adjustments, since such alteration would affect the functioning of the cannon. When the cannon is correctly aligned with its disc, it is carefully locked in position. The NCO will next harmonize the other cannon, after which he will go to the Browning gun. The semi-camera gun is aligned on its appropriate disc by a photographer. Having finished the guns, the NCO adjusts the sight, and in doing so must see that the center dot of the sight is dead on the center of the gun sight disc. When satisfied, he will lock the sight. Excessive force must never be used when locking gun sights, since this might damage the range bar mechanism and even the graticule. When all harmonization is completed, a final check must be made by the pilot. First, he checks the alignment of the plumb lines with the vertical sighting line. He then checks the levels on the inclinometer. He now checks the alignment of the guns on the aiming distance. Now this one is slightly out, and he has it corrected. When all guns are completely aligned, they are locked with a wire. The locking is then checked by the NCO. Finally, the pilot goes to the cockpit and checks his sights. He finds it okay. Well, there's one pilot happy in the knowledge that his bullet will go where he aims them. The main purpose of this film is to show the quick turnaround of aircraft actively engaged against the enemy. The first thing done when fighters return and taxi to their dispersal points is for the armorers to find out from the pilots that the gun firing controls are safe. Having obtained safe from the pilot, the armorer and his mate remove gun and cannon panels. The armorer works on top of the wings, his mate underneath. After removing all panels from the port wing, the armourer, assisted by his mate, will clear the Browning gun. After helping to clear the two machine guns, the armourer's mate goes to the cockpit, where he holds the cannon cocking lever in the cocked position, while the armourer clears the cannon and removes cannon magazines. It is important in the interest of safety that the cocking lever should be held at cocked while the magazine is being removed. The mate then takes the empty magazine from the armourer, and the two proceed to the other wing where the clearing process is repeated. While they are thus engaged, we will take a look at some of the other men concerned with the turnaround. Here is a rigger whose job is to carry out a quick between-flight inspection and to look for any damage caused by enemy fire. An electrician makes a quick check over and replenishes anything necessary. Here he is fitting a new battery. A wireless mechanic checks radio equipment and satisfies himself that all is in working order. This photographer is reading the spinning camera footage indicator in the cockpit. If film has been exposed, he takes out the used magazine and fits a new one. Oxygen empties are removed by the instrument repairer and full bottles fitted. By now, guns and cannon on the other wing have been cleared. And the armourer reports, guns clear, which means work may proceed in front of the guns. On receipt of guns clear, the armourer's assistant cleans the gun barrels with lightly oiled flannelette. He oils the 4x2 with the cleaning oil which he carries with him. He works the oil well into the flannelette before attacking the barrels. The tanker comes in to replenish petrol supplies under the supervision of the fitter. In the foreground, the armourer's mate is cleaning the starboard machine gun. After cleaning all 4 machine guns, the armourer's mate will fit clean 4x2 to his cleaning rod and dry the barrels. It must always be remembered that the turning round of fighter aircraft is an operational measure and must not be confused with or substituted for normal inspection and maintenance. For example, that armourer's assistant using his cleaning rod on those machine guns knows that he's not removing all the fouling from the barrels, and that when the aircraft is released from operations, all those barrels and the rest of the recording portions will have to be removed from the guns for thorough cleaning and inspection. However, by using his cleaning rod, he is removing a certain amount of fouling, which is easy to shift now, but which will be much harder to remove if left till the end of the day. He is also ensuring beyond doubt that there is no obstruction in any of the barrels. Having thoroughly cleaned and dried the machine gun barrels, the armourer's mate repeats the process with the cannon barrels. This view of the armourer is not presented for your amusement, but to point out the rubber boots he is wearing for the protection of wing surfaces. The performance of aircraft can be reduced by dents and scratches. The armourer is wiping off the breech blocks, breechways and barrel extensions of the Browning gun. As sludge accumulates when the guns are fired, this is important. After wiping off, he applies a light smear of anti-seizing oil mixed with an equal proportion of paraffin as a lubricant. The armourer's mate, having cleaned the cannon barrels with oil, changes the flannelette as he did in the case of the machine gun barrels. Notice that he takes 8 sections of 4x2. Meanwhile, the armourer has cleaned and oiled the recording portions of the remaining gun and moves over to the port cannon, where he wipes off and lightly re-lubricates the breech block guides, breech block, and breech way. The armourer is now handed a full magazine by his mate and loads the cannon, while his mate makes sure that no one is standing in the line of fire. He replaces straps and panels, and then may either reload the other cannon or proceed with the Browning guns on the wing on which he is working. The armourer's mate fits full Browning tanks, offering the loading straps to the armourer through the feed chute. The armourer assists the loading straps through the feedway and then loads the gun. His mate ensuring that no one is in or enters the line of fire. When all guns have been loaded, armourer and mate replace the remaining panels and secure them. The armourer inspects signal cartridges and, if necessary, replaces them. Meanwhile, his mate reattaches gun ports. In preparing patches, it is best to tear half the patch away from the gauze on which it is supplied and then sticking this half firmly and smoothly over the top of the gun port, to pull the doors away and affix the lower half of the patch. The armourer now goes to the cockpit to wipe off the reflector sight and inside of the windscreen, to test the sight and check air pressure. If necessary, he will use the air compressor to bring the air pressure up to maximum. When this has been done, the armourer's assistant will report aircraft rearmed to NCO in charge of flight, and with the armourer assist other crews. Finally, empty tanks and magazines will be collected, taken to the refilling point, and all preparations made for the next rearm.